What's up, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be discussing the book Get the Life You Want by Richard Bandler. Now, if you know anything about Richard Bandler, it says here on the title of the book is he's the father and co-creator of NLP. And that's why I'm reviewing this book, because I'm interested in NLP. And I was getting more into hypnosis, as you might have noticed from some of the other books and some of the other topics that I've talked about on this channel. So I wanted to read this book because I recently read The Structure of Magic, and I haven't reviewed that book because it's a little bit dense, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to review that book. But I wanted to get this because I like learning about NLP and hypnosis, and I thought this book would be similar along those lines. And he says you use neuro-linguistic programming. But this book is in a very unique format. It's not a traditional self-help book. It's more of like facing certain situations. But with that, I'll just go over the format of the book. The book starts out with teaching you a little bit of how your brain works. It's very confusing how it does that. It seems like he's going to give a lot of background on how your brain works, but he only goes into certain things. For example, the first chapter is the power of your unconscious, and this talks about the power of your unconscious mind. Chapter 2 is the quality of your thoughts. This is where he gets into submodalities, which is a big piece of his beliefs, is the submodalities of your brain. And this is basically the visual, auditory, kinesthetic, gustatory, and olfactory ways that your mind works. So because we create images in our head, you have to change those images, change the sounds that you hear in your head in order to change your actions. And he creates a long list of all of the characteristics in each of those categories. And in the description to this video, I'll include a link to my website where I review this book, and I'll have the whole list in there. And I'll also have the whole list of the chapters, because after he goes through this first part of the beginning of the book of explaining how your brain works, then he teaches you specific situations to overcome. And that's basically the whole rest of the book. And in each of those situations, he provides exercises. And I want to show you an example of how those exercises look. So there's exercises like this, nice and numbered for each situation that you might get yourself into, you might want to get yourself out of. And he basically uses the Swish Method that he discussed in The Structure of Magic. And if you're thinking of getting the Structure of Magic, I think the Structure of Magic is okay, but not that good. And in this book, he discusses a little bit of how hard it was to write Structure of Magic because of his co-author. And I don't think the Structure of Magic is that useful to normal people, and I would suggest this book instead. But you have to realize the main exercise you'll be using throughout this whole book is the Swish Method. And that's where I found a little bit confusing the beginning of the book, where he goes into submodalities and the way your mind works, when he basically uses the same method throughout the whole book. But you're going to be changing the thoughts that you have that aren't contributing to your life, and switching them out with better thoughts. And you're going to be spinning them. You're going to be spinning them, changing the image, replacing the image, because that's the way that your brain works. And Richard Bandler, I didn't talk about this at the beginning, but Richard Bandler had a strong influence on Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins uses a lot of these methods. He just doesn't call them these methods. He describes them in different ways. But Richard Bandler taught Tony Robbins about NLP. And so a lot of the methods you use in here will be similar to methods that you might be familiar with from Tony Robbins. But that's the basic structure of the book. You'll be constantly replacing thoughts. I think the biggest takeaway from this book is that many of us are in mental states that we don't desire. And we're constantly looking for the easy way out of those mental states, but we're not willing to do the work. You have to be willing to sit down and do the work and replace the bad thoughts that you have with better thoughts. If you go back to the book that I recently reviewed by David Goggins, or Can't Hurt Me, sometimes you just have to push through things, but sometimes you have to do the work. And a lot of people will go to weird seminars, will do different kinds of hypnosis, meditation, but you won't sit there and actually replace your bad thinking. For example, he talks about fears and phobias. And in that area, he talks about anxiety and about how anxiety is the buildup of all these bad thought processes. And you have to undo those thought processes. It takes a little bit of time, but not that much time. But most people aren't willing to do the work. So I would recommend this book to people who want to get out of certain situations in their life. And with that, I'll provide a list of some of the things that he covers in this book. So he covers how to get over bad memories, get over grief, get over bad relationships, get over bad decisions, how to get through compulsions and bad habits, how to get through physical recovery from things like surgery, how to get through a resignation of a job, how to get through big events, how to get through tests, how to get through obligations, how to get to fun, how to get to love. And what he means in this area, getting to fun and getting to love, is that many of us, we don't create time periods of getting to fun. We just think we have to be miserable the whole time, or we have to be busy, and we don't schedule out the times where we're going to have fun. For example, at work, some of us will work all day long, and we won't schedule a time where we stop working and getting to fun. Getting to be more organized. I like that area too, and I've been getting into organization a little bit, and I'll be reviewing books about organization as well. But what he says in there is really good too, that you have to find time to be organized. A lot of us procrastinate, but we don't procrastination. We get right to procrastination. Procrastination is an activity, so instead of procrastinating, why not just get to the activity? And he says the way you do this is by changing your thoughts. So he has all the basic kind of situations you're going to face in your life and how to address them and fix your bad thinking in those areas. And he also says getting to make more money and getting to make big decisions. And that's the last chapter. So as you see, the things in your life that you'll face are basically covered in this book. And you don't need to read the whole book through if you buy it or get it from the library. I think you should buy it because it's basically every situation you're going to face in your life. And anytime you face a situation, like whether you have an interview or whether you're trying to get over some grief, you just open the book and do the exercises. Many of us don't want to do the work, but you have to sit there and do the work, and this book will help you do that. So with that, I'm going to be covering other books similar to this. I'll probably review Structure of Magic at some point. So if you want to get books similar to this and other self-help book recommendations and reviews, make sure to subscribe to this channel, like it, comment down below, and thanks for watching.